Hello to the 90 million who did not vote in the 2024 presidential elections, or I should say general elections. Also to my fellow female activists, hello, Cathy. I am your wellness coach. And usually I'm talking to, again, specifically my fellow female activists. But today I want to actually connect with the 90 million who did not vote in the 2024 general elections. So this is a recommendation playlist video. So that means that I'm actually just going to offer up what I believe can be useful information recommendations for those who want to fight fascism. And if anyone was unfamiliar as of yet, yes, the United States is now a fascist regime or ruled by a fascist regime, but that's only because a third wanted it that way of the population. And not even that. Half of that population of the 340 million who live here, only half, okay, and less than that decided to vote. And so you take that half, and then only a third of them wanted the fascist regime. Let's just get that clear. Anyway, so we always start these videos, though, whether it's a wellness playlist or the recommendations playlist, with what we call positive quotient repetitions, okay, positive quotient repetitions. So we will go ahead and what you want to do is you can be sitting, standing, laying down even, but I want you to go ahead and think of it as like you need a quiet space. Preferably you're alone somewhere. And again, only if you wish to, you can close your eyes. And what I want you to do is, it's going to sound funny, but I want you to scrunch up, tighten up all of your body parts, all of it, however you can. I mean, again, wherever you are, be safe. But scrunch everything up, like get everything really tense and tight, 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 tight. Don't forget to breathe. Squeeze everything. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze all the way from your toes, all the way up to your head. Think about tight, tight, and then let it go. I always forget to breathe, even though I tell people to breathe. And feel the sensation. Feel that sensation of release. And let it sink through your body now. You were so tense, you were wrapped up in that little ball of tension. And now you can feel relief, right? You can feel release. You can feel basically, actually, the unwinding. And with that, go ahead and open up your eyes if they were closed. So that is what we call positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps. They're not always that way. There are different ways to experience that. But I actually tried that earlier today because that was on my daily focus. So I actually have an app that's connected to the positive quotient repetitions that I partake in every day. And it was kind of funny because that was the one for today. And I didn't appreciate them when I first learned them, which you probably thought that was the strangest thing ever. And it wasn't fun. I can assure you, though, over time, it actually feels really, really good. And, or it feels awesome. It's a release, right? And I will add that similar to when you're actually twisting and turning, okay, in yoga, right? When you have the twists that you try to get yourself into, that is actually the same concept because what's happening is that you are basically squishing everything in your body, i.e., you're tightening up and literally, in some cases, stopping some of the circulation of blood in your body to your organs. And then when you release, okay, quite literally, physically, the blood is going to start flowing again. And it feels really fabulous because you've stored up energy as well as toxins, and now the toxins are being released. But so is that oxygenated blood. Pretty awesome, right? So today, again, is a recommendation. These recommendations drop the last day of every month, or sorry, the last Sunday of every month. And I want to again, and so if you're a fellow female activist and you are in fact very familiar with this concept or recommendation, please send it to someone who is not otherwise well informed about how to deal with the current situation that we're in the United States. And what I want to talk about again to the 90 million, again, it's not really 90 million, it's less than the 90 million, but anyway, to the 90 million who did not vote in the 2024 general elections is now that you're probably very aware that your life is not going to ever be the same, quite honestly, and you're ready to take a stand, okay, then let me be the one person who gives you the advice to be very, very cognizant and very intentional about your community. What I mean by that is you're going to choose a community, okay? In my case, I have two national organizations. They're both national nonprofits, and they've been around for a long, long time. Interesting enough, I was only aware of one of them early on, okay, when I was in my 20s. I found out about one of them. And I'm not going to necessarily name them because that's not important. But what I'm getting at is that I used to donate to them. I never gave my time, and that's okay. But I still contributed in some way. Now, I wasn't active. Again, sometimes I would donate, sometimes I wouldn't, but I would donate funds, right? And after June 24th, 2022, for those of you who are not aware what that date signifies, it's when basically the corrupt Supreme Court got rid of Roe versus Wade as a law, and thus ushered in the end of federal protections against bodily autonomy, basically. So I say all that because, again, I've always been aware of, okay, the organization that I'm now very involved with, but I wasn't involved in such a way that I, just donated and I thought, okay, let them go about it. Well, now, because of what happened on June 24th, 2022, I got activated like that. And so now I actually give basically all of my time, not all of my time, let me rephrase that. I give what I can, okay? And then there's a second organization that I then became aware of after, again, June 24th, 2022, and also involved with them. And that's where I spend my time. So that's what I want to get at here, is I don't disperse myself over tons and tons of organizations. No, because that go wide strategy, especially if you're new to any movement when it comes to social justice, to, again, fighting fascism, you're going to burn out. Quite literally, and I'll be honest, just after a year of, going at it as a reproductive justice advocate, okay, I got burned out. And then I realized, again, I'm a wellness coach by choice. And so I was like, okay, if I was burned out and I was following my own advice, doing my best to keep my self-care going, I'm like, all my other fellow female activists must be burned out as well. So anyway, that's what I do. I help my fellow female activists, again, recharge naturally, create their wellness plans so that they don't burn out, okay, during this really ongoing marathon, which is stopping fascism. So with that, again, why am I making this video? Again, because I want people to, again, who were not ever really interested in anything to do with, again, the government, who it was working, and people took it for granted. And now we don't have it. We have a fascist regime, which doesn't care about anyone, okay? It's all about feeding the rich, okay? So they're taking away those of us. So 99% of us, okay, are on this level. And then you have this, it's 99.9% because 0.01%, so 88 billionaires in this country, or at least 88 people, are being catered to by the fascist regime, okay? So that means that most of us, the majority of us, okay, literally 99.9% of us are not going to fare well in a fascist regime, okay? So how you choose to get involved is up to you. How much you get involved is up to you. But I want you to really consider, again, just picking one topic, okay, one concept, one, I guess you would say cause, okay, put that way, one cause that is close to you, that means something to you, and then go all out. At the same time, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, okay? And I can come in there, but more importantly, don't go wide, okay? Don't say, oh, I'm going to go take that organization. I'm going to help that organization. I understand the thought process, right? Every organization would be happy to have you. And you're going to get burned out. What we're trying to do right now is simply, we must grow this anti-fascist coalition as quickly as possible. I mean, it should have been happening decades ago, and it didn't. because Democrats were lazy, let's be honest. And I would be a perfect example. Again, I told you, I donated money, but I didn't get involved. So I didn't know what was happening behind the scenes, so to speak, right? In all the different legislators that I put in office. I was simply thinking, okay, yeah, I voted them in, they're going to do the right thing. No, really, they haven't. And so even Democrats, okay, and yes, I still want you to vote for the Democrats because we have a two-party system. Anyone who's telling you that they're creating a third party, let them destroy the other fascist regime now, because they're going to split those votes. We want democracy to come back. And so we need to, unfortunately, bring in, and I say unfortunately, because we need to, I shouldn't say unfortunately, we need to bring in new blood into the Democratic Party so that we get rid of the geriatric thinking in the party and actually bring in people who want to finally see real change happen. Okay. So by you choosing one specific topic, one specific cause that you are really passionate about, or at least interested in, go that route, go all in. Okay. And just stick with that. And just know that because of your willingness, okay, to stick with that one cause, that then helps feed the ultimate cause of democracy, okay? Because everything is connected, intersectionality, look it up. Because you're picking one topic that really, really resonates with you and you go all in, you are helping that cause, okay? That then ripple effects into the actual cause of democracy, okay? We are living again in a fascist regime. We are no longer technically a democratic republic. All right. That's not what's happened. We have fallen to fascism. And if you are trying to kid yourself and say, oh, no, we live in a democracy, no, because there should be three equal branches of government that has been capitulated to by the Supreme Court as well as the Congress. Because why? Because they are both regulated now through majority rule of what is now a MAGA fascist regime. They have capitulated to the executive branch. So no, we are not anymore living in a democratic republic. It is now a fascist regime. And you must get willing to say that, because that is the truth. All we can do now is stop the regime and get what we can back with democracy. And it's not going to happen in the 2026 elections. It's not going to happen in the 2028 elections. God willing, that we still have those, right? But it's going to happen because of our progressive movement, okay? So again, this is simply a recommendation for anyone out of the 90 million who chose to sit out the very, very important 2024 general election. You learned now what happens when you don't participate. Get registered if you weren't already, and then get involved in at least one organization. Okay, stay in a community that means something to you, because that's going to take you through, not just so that you create a ripple effect, but you are then in community. And that's what we need so much. When you're in community, and I'll end with this, that creates the dual power effect. Okay, we require mutual aid. All of what you used to rely on is now gone. The federal government does not exist really anymore. And so what you used to rely on is no longer standing. That means that in your community, okay, where you choose to help, they're going to be the same people that mutually give you aid when necessary. And it's a win-win. You're going to help their cause, which you are very much into, right? You believe in. And at the same time, if in fact you do require help and support, that's where the win-win happens. Please don't think that all is lost. Again, it's a really scary time. And I'm not going to, try and make it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And now you get to step up. Okay. We all get to step up, and we all get to understand that this happened on our watch. And we can't let the next generations have to deal with the stupidity that's happening right now, or the cruelty, or the disenfranchisement. We can flip the switch. Again, we're not going to turn everything around, but we're going to create more safety. until which time full democratic republic is finally given the rights and or has returned, I should say. So with that, again, the recommendation here, pick one cause, one topic, one way for you to get involved and stick with it. And know that all the other topics that you have some interest in, someone else is very much involved in that, and they will carry that torch. Okay, so with that, until we meet in person and kick out and impeach all of the rot that is in the fascist regime, take care, take charge, God bless.